Anyway, Moneyball.
Moneyball, based on the book Moneyball, The Art of Winning an Unfair Game, and in the writing credits, Steve Zalian and Aaron Sorkin, so a big hitter in every way, based on true story of the Oakland A's manager Billy Beane, attempting to put together a winning baseball team in a world in which money is everything, and it is an unfair game. Now, despite having seen, Field of Dreams and League of Their Own and every baseball movie out, I still do not understand baseball. When I sat in this screening, as I said, half the journalists in there were sports journalists who clearly understand the sport more than me. There is an interesting discussion to be had about why it is that baseball keeps being used as the backbone of so many movies, how much of the American dream it encompasses, how much it sort of captures that, a sort of collective unconscious. From the point of view of this story, however, and I didn't know this story. Do you know the story? Do you know this story?
Only because I've been reading about it for about 2 or 3 weeks now.
Okay, fine. Did you know about it beforehand?
No, but it sounds fascinating. It sounds like the kind of thing that we should have been on top of.
The heart of it is...
It's all about stats.
Yeah, the heart of it is that essentially he has this team. His team don't have very much money. Other teams have more money, so any players they have get bought off. He realises that it doesn't matter what their tactics are, that they're not going to win in a world because they don't have enough money. The problem is the money is not enough to pay for the good players, and that's a problem. Then he finds Jonah Hill's character, Pete Brand, who is a statistician, somebody who has a Harvard degree, somebody whose background is in economics, who says, actually, there is a way of winning this stuff statistically. You don't have to be spending millions and millions of dollars to buy each player, because in fact, out there are loads and loads of players that we can afford to buy who would win a game if we just did the whole thing on statistics. And I don't have his character says, I don't have a baseball background, but I do understand statistics. Here's a clip.
I'm projecting that we need to win at least 99 games in order to make it to the postseason. We need to score at least 814 runs in order to win those games and allow no more than 645 runs. People are overlooked for a variety of biased reasons and perceived flaws. Age, appearance, personality. Of the 20,000 notable players for us to consider, I believe that there is a championship team of 25 people that we could afford, because everyone else in baseball undervalues them. Like an island of misfit toys.
Why is there a guy on keyboards in the corner?
Because that's what you have to have that in the background.
Nice
a guy
chords.
on keyboards in the corner, otherwise the film won't work.
Okay.
So essentially, they describe what they're doing as being like card counters at a casino. Card counting, which is this technique which is frowned upon, but it's a way of winning.
Form of cheating, which isn't really.
It's not cheating. I mean, on what level is card count? I mean, but
well, it's a form of winning.
It's a form of winning, isn't it? Yes. I don't fully understand it because I don't understand gambling. I'm sure that now, even as I've just said that, there are casinos on the saying actually card counting is cheating, and I can't quite understand why, because I don't understand anything about gambling, because as you know, I don't gamble because I have a very bad relationship with gambling, having only ever done it once, and won so small when I could have won so big that I felt that it was effectively somebody's way of telling me not to do it.
But you're over it now.
I am over it now, thanks for bringing it up. But essentially, it is a story about somebody looking at a game and saying the game doesn't work any longer on simple sportsmanship rules. It is running on money, hence Moneyball. And there is a way of beating it, but the only way to beat it is to adopt a system which, ironically, everybody else who runs the game through money thinks is somehow disreputable because it's looking at the game through statistics. So on the one hand, you have the people attempting to win the game through money. On the other hand, you have the people attempting to win the game through statistics. And as the story unfolds, the result is really quite unusual. Now, a number of interesting things. One of them is that the character that Brad Pitt plays specifically doesn't watch the matches in which his team is playing. In fact, he avoids being there because he believes that somehow he will jinx them. So most of the action doesn't take place on the baseball field. It takes place in the rooms where they're having the discussions, the boardrooms, the dressing rooms, the corridors, the basket, or with our character doing something else whilst a crucial game is playing out. Now, I like that very much because as somebody who doesn't understand first stop, they keep referring to people as, first stops and back bases and this, that, and the other. And I have no idea what they're talking about. No matter how many baseball movies I've seen, I still couldn't explain the rules of baseball to you. But you understand just well enough that somebody has effectively come up with a way which may beat the system, and also believes that they don't need to be there at the game. In fact, being there at the game will somehow jinx their team. And I like that. I like the idea that it's The Social Network does baseball, because it's the film about the guys who created the thing that everybody knows about. In the case of Social Network, it's all the backroom stuff behind Facebook. In the case of this, it's all the backroom stuff behind baseball. But Social Network, you spend very little time online looking at Facebook, and in this, you spend very little time actually watching baseball play out, which I thought was a very interesting idea. You make a baseball movie, it's not about baseball, and that's kind of the point of the story. Looks very good. It was shot by Wally Pfister, who, as we know, is one of the greatest DPs working at the moment. Brad Pitt is terrifically convincing, and easily the best performance I've seen by Jonah Hill in a long time. And as somebody who really does not understand or indeed want to understand baseball, what I liked about it was that it's not about that, in the same way that, you know, that Let the Right One In is not a film about vampires, and in the same way that 12 Angry Men is not a film about lawyers. It's about, you know, human decency.
And
it's not
Jaws isn't about a shark.
Isn't about a shark.
No.
Actually, Jaws isn't about a shark. Jaws is about infidelity. And
Close Encounters, not about
space
UFOs.
aliens. It's about somebody going mad and building a tower out of mashed potato. It's a film that I understood completely, in the same way that I understood Social Network, even though what I know about the internet wouldn't fill the back of a small postage stamp. That's what I liked about it. Very well written, very convincingly played, and surprisingly enjoyable, considering that essentially it's a backroom drama about people trying to figure out how to win sports matches in a way that is nothing to do with sport.
Aspie Dimitrov, president of the Hertfordshire Baseball Club, says, "I write to you from Hertfordshire on behalf of the Hertfordshire Baseball Club. I feel I'm also echoing the thoughts of thousands of others playing baseball in the UK. For many years, British baseball fans have been waiting for the moment when this magnificent sport is propelled into its rightful place in the UK sports scene. We've been secretly hoping that David Beckham will suddenly walk into a Yankee Stadium in the New York Yankees jersey, unveiled to the world media as their new second baseman." That's not someone who plays the bass.
Baseman.
We remain
Hey,
optimistic.
Mr. Second Baseman.
On the chances, etc. The late 80s
Not going to stop.
and early 90s was the most successful era in British baseball, and it coincided with Bull Durham, The Natural, Field of Dreams, Major League, 8 Men Out.
Seen all of them. 8 Men Out's the real standout.
How does Moneyball compare with all of these? I should tell you, our club is taking all of our youth and adult teams to see the movie in our local cinema in Hertfordshire. We suspect that some of our players will violate the moviegoers' code of conduct. If any of your listeners end up in the same movie theatre in Hatfield, Hertfordshire Baseball Club wishes to apologise in advance and declare its full support of the code of conduct.
You'll enjoy it very much. It's a very good film. Can I quickly do Dreamhouse?
Rhetorical question.
Psychological
If I was to say no, what difference would it make?
Psychological thriller with a twist